If you're waiting until you're perfect to finally do the thing, you're already behind. I told y'all on Tuesday that one of the biggest lessons God taught me during my 30 for 30 series is that He is not looking for a perfect messenger. Does not exist. He's looking for a willing one. I had to be obedient and show up every day during that 30 for 30 series because I had committed to God, first of all, and then I committed to y'all. I told y'all I was going to show up every day for 30 days, and I did that. And I had to follow God's instructions. And those instructions didn't come with my own personal roadmap, right? There were days that I didn't know until I woke up that morning what He wanted me to talk about. And it was all a reminder that it's impossible. It is impossible to follow God for real if we're too busy watching everybody else. So I need to ask y'all, I'm going to ask y'all a serious question. Lean in. Are you following God? Or are you following the noise of the crowd? I want to know. Let's get into it. I'm Ty, Grammy-nominated poet, award-winning rapper, Billboard charting artist, among other things. And this space right here is where creative artists learn to live better, create better, and believe better. Welcome to day 2, y'all, of my new series, Do the Thing. Do the thing. Do the thing. If this sounds like your tribe, go ahead and subscribe. All right, y'all. Today we're going to play a game. Well, actually, we're going to talk about a game. The game is Simon Says. Y'all remember that game, right? Say yes. All right. If you don't, for some reason you don't know it, the whole point of the game is to follow the leader. But only when the leader says, or only when the leader Simon says, do XYZ. That game, it always reminds me of life. Not the other game Life, but like real life. Except in real life, the leader is God. And we have to decide, are we going to follow God or are we going to follow every other voice that's trying to tell us what to do? Like this, all day, every day. Let me tell y'all a quick story. I thought it was really funny, and I'm hoping that this story is going to help bring it all together. So a couple, they had 2 little boys. One was 8, the other was 10. And they were constantly getting in trouble. Like if something happened in their neighborhood, the parents pretty much figured it was their sons, or their sons had something to do with it. So the parents were, they were done. Like done, right? Done. So the mother heard that there was a pastor in town and he had helped other kids basically be better, shape up. So she asked her husband, she was like, should we send our sons there to talk to the pastor? So the husband was like, yeah, we need to, we should, because I'm about to go off on them. So something's got to happen. So yes, let's send them to the pastor. So the pastor agreed to talk to the 2 boys, and he was like, I'm gonna split them up though. I'm gonna talk to them one at a time. So the 8-year-old was first. I was trying to do a time check. I don't know what time it is, but I'm gonna try to stay in 10 minutes. The 8-year-old was first. So the pastor asked him like forcefully, the pastor was like, where is God? And the boy didn't answer. So the pastor repeated the question, and he was even more firm this time and was like, where is God? And so the boy still didn't answer. Look, bad boy, still didn't answer. So the pastor basically started yelling and got up in the boy's face and was like, where is God? So the boy, of course, got scared because he's only 8. He jumped up. He ran all the way home, ran into his room, shut himself in the closet. And his 10-year-old brother came after him and was like, what happened? Because, the 10-year-old brother was supposed to be next, and he wanted to know what am I in for? And the little brother was like, yo, we're in big trouble this time because God is missing and they think we did it. Y'all, I know that's funny to me. I hope it was funny to y'all, but it's also very deep because they thought God was missing. And sometimes we act like God is missing because we're placing everybody else's voice above his. Like, this is serious. So I'm going to ask y'all the original question again. Are you following God, or are you following the noise of the crowd? I know that's a heavy question, but we need to know, and it connects to Simon Says. And here's how. Before we can even play Simon Says, we have to decide who the leader is. Like that game is like our life. We're deciding. If we're going to follow the leader, we have to decide who the leader is going to be. Otherwise, how are we going to know who to follow? Joshua 24:15 says, "Choose ye this day who you will serve." Then he went on and said, "As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord." So Josh, I don't know, can I call him Josh? Joshua made it clear who his leader was. He said his leader was God. And we have to make the same decision. We can't follow God and follow the crowd. Definitely not if it's the wrong crowd. And still, even if it's like a good crowd, God needs to be the loudest voice. We definitely can't follow God in our feelings, because our feelings are going to lead us wrong. Even when it feels good, it could be wrong. We can't follow God and follow fear. We have to pick a lane. And if we pick God, or the lane that God is in, we're picking the only leader who will never lead us wrong. So I have more questions for y'all. Who is your leader? Who are you actually listening to when you make decisions? Is it God? Is it Instagram or Facebook or YouTube? Is it your insecurities? Is it your past? Is it your haters? Is it the devil? You have to decide who you're going to listen to. Because if you don't choose God, you're going to end up just following whoever's shouting the loudest. And the world is super loud, y'all. And it will go off. It's going to get you off course from doing the thing God put you here to do. So you have to choose. Decide if God is your leader. And if he is, cool, we good. But what now? So once you decide that the leader is God and that's who you're going to follow, then we have to listen. In order to follow, we have to listen. In order to know, just like our GPS, we talked about it yesterday, I think. Just like the GPS in the car, we have to know, we have to be able to hear the voice. John 10:27 says, "My sheep know my voice. I know them and they follow me. My sheep listen to my voice," is what the Lord said. And I know we live in a world and it can be hard to follow God. It can much less hear him. I get it. There's noise all around us. We hear voices outside and inside. And that's why people write books like the Battlefield of the Mind, like we talked about Joyce Meyer before. People write those books, and God has been talking for a long time. He talked to Moses. He talked to Elijah. He talked to Mary through an angel. He talked to Saul with the bright light. My point is, God he's not silent. The crowd can just be loud. And he has so many ways that he can get a message to us, right? In one of my verses that I did on a song that I love, I featured on this song and I said, "Distance all the other voices." I was talking to God. "Distance all the other voices and make yours most clear." And that's how we can hear his voice when he's saying, "Do the thing." Drive out all the other voices. I was thinking about how Jesus lived in this world too, right? And I'm sure he had a lot of voices. He even had haters talking junk right to his face, right? All the voices saying who he wasn't. So he gave us an example of how to deal with all the noise. Matthew 14:23. He said, after he had dismissed them, he went up on the mountainside by himself to pray. All right, there might not be mountains where you live. Maybe it's gonna be your closet or your car or under your desk. I have a friend who used to hide under her desk at work. That's where she went off to be able to hear from God. Basically, you just need to be in a quiet space where you can get along with God. Because sometimes you just need that separation. You need to separate yourself from the crowd so God can actually he could finally get a word in. Because he's been trying to talk, but it's are we listening? So I don't know. I feel like I'm running out of time and we're probably going to need a part 2 because this is a really loaded topic. And that's obviously why I'm excited, right? So I'm gonna, hold on, I'm gonna pause and do a time check. Let me see. This time definitely goes by a lot faster than the 30 minutes. So we're definitely gonna have to do a part 2. So I'm gonna stop right here for today, and I'm gonna pick up on Tuesday. I'll give y'all something, basically this will give y'all something to think about until I see y'all again. So sorry for the cliffhanger, but think about it. Think about the questions I asked y'all. And before I let y'all go, let's do our 2 declarations for this series. I am a faithful steward of the word and the work. I will do the thing God called me to do, regardless of my feelings. So thank y'all for watching. If you're ready to go after your God-sized goals with me, please subscribe. If you got something out of this video so far, this part 1 that we've raced through, like and share. And I'm gonna put a link in the description to a monthly group I'll be starting pretty soon. It's called the Reset Room. I'm excited about it. So click the link in the description to find out more about it. All right, I love y'all. See y'all on Tuesday. All right, peace.